guys, what is up? Welcome to the First and Feathers Eagles post-game show. The Eagles defeated the New York Giants 20-13. I'm here with my guy Swerve from Stream Punk Entertainment. How you doing, man? We got a win
Not
with our
today,
backups.
always good to have a win no matter who's playing.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Hold on. I clicked something on my computer. Small window. Come on, man. Now my computer doesn't even want to work. Come on. There we go. Gotcha. There we go. Let me go like that. Yeah, it's not a much needed win, but it was still good to see Tanner McKee ball out. It was still good just to see the backups get some shine. Even like Jeremiah Trotter Jr., he had 11 tackles. Burks had 17, and Sidney Brown with the pick at the end of the game, clutch.
Yeah,
So let me get your overall reaction, pretty much. Tanner McKee, is he the player of the game?
yeah. Tanner played really well. Um, again, from we saw small sample size last week, and he was outstanding. And then today you got to get a look at him with Mims and Wilson, and I was shocked that Goddard was playing, but I understand that why Goddard was playing today. So you got to see Tanner with the guys, the second team, and the backups. And Tanner played well. He made the right decisions. He wasn't hesitant. He got the ball out quick most of the times, and he did a really good job. Um, so I still think Pickett is solidified at number two, but McKee's your third quarterback. He's proven that he can come in and step in when you need him and play. So I was satisfied with Tanner, satisfied with the young fellas. Mims looked really good, and Dotson. We had a Dotson sighting today. So overall, you have to be pleased. You got out of the game. You got out of the game with a W, and you're healthy, and you just start to prepare for next week now.
Yep, you did bring up Dotson. I think Dotson actually was the top three players when it comes to players of the game here. I mean, 94 yards, like pretty much his best game all year. Let's be honest there. And I was still kind of worried about Dallas Goedert because he's known to get injured, but I'm glad he didn't. We all know he had to play. He was off for 4 weeks, so that makes sense. He was injured for 3 to 4 weeks. And then another player on the offensive side that caught my eye was Will Shipley, actually. Will Shipley, the running back, the second one. He had 11 carries for 14 yards. He had a couple nice runs there. Oh, wait, no, that was Gainwell. 10 carries for 32 yards, 3.2 average. I mean, hey, we're going to have a running back controversy next season for the 2 and the 3. So a lot of my friends wanted Will Shipley to play instead of Gainwell throughout the season. And he stood out. He stood out. He did everything that he was supposed to. And yeah, and then another player for me is Sidney Brown. Sidney Brown had a game-winning interception there. Tell me about that. How'd you like that from Sidney Brown?
Uh, his problem is he wasn't healthy this year. Like
Yeah,
Brown can play. Brown can play. I think our secondary is solidified with the two rookies, DeJean and Mitchell. But then we also have depth like we haven't had in a long time because you have a Brown who can come in and play the safety if Blankenship or Gardner Johnson is out. You have Ringo. You have Rogers. There's depth. Even Maddox. Maddox is probably horrible and shouldn't be on the team. But in a jam, you still have Maddox. You still have Maddox there. So I believe like secondary depth is amazing. I believe Sydney's issue was he was hurt early and he didn't have training camp, so he's just getting his win. He's been majority of special teams. He played the majority of his time has been spent on special teams, but I believe Brown can play, and if you need like a player to step up, I'm fine with Sidney Brown. Like I'm fine with the depth in the secondary, and Brown got the interception to seal the game, and then it was a good showing. It was an all around showing. That's what you expect from players. When their number gets called, they got a game where they got to play meaningful snaps to them. It wasn't necessarily meaningful snaps to us as fans because we were already stuck at the number two, but it meant a whole heck of a lot to those guys who got to go out there and play. And the league is all about putting positive plays on film. And I think a lot of guys who might not be here next year put positive plays on film so that even if they're not here next year, they'll get a call from somebody else who says, "Hey, you played well when given the opportunity. Come on down." But overall, I'm satisfied. We got out. We got to win, and we're healthy, and start to prepare for next week. Like so, I'm definitely happy with everything that happened today.
Yeah. So for me, my main thing when I was doing a live play-by-play with my guy, Cool Cat, I just want everyone healthy. That was my main thing. I want everyone healthy to play for the playoffs next week against the Packers. We're going to talk about that in a second for sure. But there was no injuries here, none whatsoever. Everyone stayed healthy. No dirty hits, nothing there. Perfect, just absolutely perfect. Let me ask you this though: did you want Saquon Barkley to play, or you were just like, nah, let him sit out?
Realistically, everything. I'm not an Eric Dickerson fan, so I wanted Saquon to play, and I
I did
wanted him
too.
to crush. I wanted him to go beat it, so we never have to hear from Eric Dickerson about the record again. He reminds me. What's the Mercury Morris is the Dolphins? Every time somebody when the team loses and Mercury Morris used to go on his little rants about being the last undefeated team. So I really wish Saquon would have played and broke the record, but then I remember AJ Brown getting hurt last year, and then I look back, even Zay Flowers yesterday. Like I know Baltimore was playing to win the division and host a first round game, but you look at Zay Flowers. I'm from the injuries happen. Like
Yeah.
injuries happen no matter what, right? So if you go out and you sat this guy and he's 101 yards short, and if you don't win a Super Bowl, then your season meant absolutely nothing. Like going in, the goal is to win a Super Bowl. Only one team is going to win a Super Bowl this year. The other 31 teams aren't going to be Super Bowl winners. But when we look back on a season, if we don't win a Super Bowl, Saquon rushed for 2,000 yards, but it would have been nice to be like Saquon broke the record. But now we got to win. Now this puts pressure on us. Now we have to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yep. I'm right there with you, man. I was right there with you. This whole week, I've just been like thinking about it, going back and forth. But you know what got me to have Saquon to play? It's like when you're playing a video game, right? And you want to go defeat the final boss, but there's like side missions here that you want to like upgrade your guy, get XP. That's what this is for Saquon. It was like a little side quest, Let me grab this title, and he's not going to get the MVP, right? He's pretty much going to go to Josh Allen. So he's not going to get the rushing title. He's not going to get the MVP, and it looks like hypothetically, it's not guaranteed to get the Super Bowl. So this whole season would be a what if for Saquon Barkley, and I hated it. I hate it.
And it's like because 2000. So whoever between Lamar and Josh Allen, whoever doesn't get MVP is going to get Offensive Player of the Year, right? So
Mm-hmm.
one's going to get MVP, the other will get Offensive Player of the Year. So he walks away with no personal awards.
Right.
But if he walks away with no personal awards, but has arguably, I won't say the greatest season for a running back, because I think Adrian Peterson and LaDainian Tomlinson and Marshall Falk all
Yeah.
had amazing seasons, better seasons than Saquon did this year. But Saquon had a chance to break that record and go down in history as the all-time single season leader, which that would have been amazing. But now it's going to be in the past because we have to move on and focus on getting to the Super Bowl. We have to start a 4 game. We have to start a 3 game, 4 game win streak, wild card, divisional, championship, Super Bowl. We need to start our 4 game win streak next week.
Yeah. And another thing too with Saquon, and then we'll go on to this comment right here from Ed. From Saquon's perspective, you're looking at a potential Hall of Fame thing if he gets this record. If he gets this record, he's in the Hall of Fame. So I don't know if he's going to be there now without this record. He only been to the Pro Bowl twice. Like he did pretty much nothing. He was always with the Giants, which sucks for him, but that could have helped solidify his Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but he'll get it. He'll be first team All Pro.
Yeah.
He'll he'll get his first team All Pro this year. He obviously a Pro Bowl player, which he won't be playing in that game. Hopefully, um, and he has three. We got him for another 2 3 years, and he's only 26, 27. So hopefully, it's hard to say bigger and better things, but hopefully bigger and better things come. I'm sure he'll trade. He will trade, not breaking that record for 2 or 3 Super Bowls.
Yeah, probably.
If
So
he gets two
Ed,
or three Super Bowls, he's definitely going in.
if he gets 2 or 3 Super Bowls, there's no question, none without a doubt. But we're here with my guy Ed, who checks in. Packers are going to be a tough game. Yes, I feel like they are going to be a tough game. They are dealing with a big injuries right now with not Jared Goff, Jordan Love with the arm, elbow, whatever, and then Christian Watson with the knee. People are saying that might even be an ACL injury. So I know you were pretty much wanting to face the Commanders, but tell me about the Packers, man. How do you feel?
I think the tougher team of the two was definitely the Packers. I just looked. They
Yeah.
said Jordan Love rocked his funny bone, so he should be good to go next week. But there hasn't been a return or a report about Christian Watson yet. I mean, Jordan Love is sporadic. You know, sometimes Jordan Love looks like he could be the next coming of Pat Mahomes or Tom Brady. Like sometimes Jordan Love looks elite. And then other times, Jordan Love looks like a darker version of Daniel Jones. So it just all depends on what Jordan Love shows up. Um, but I believe that the Packers, that matchup is a tough. It's probably the tougher matchup between the options that were available for the Eagles. I would have much rather seen Washington because I want to get a rematch from, like I told you earlier. I wanted to play them after what happened a few weeks ago. But the Packers are a young team. They're young. They have excellent wide receivers. They don't have like a stud wide receiver, but their wide receiver, they have depth in the wide receiver room. At any given time, any one of those guys can beat you. They signed Jacobs. They bought Jacobs over in the offseason, which was huge. They have a really good run game. And defensively, they're not bad. I wonder what the status on Jair Alexander is. Um, but it's a tough matchup. Do I think the Eagles can win? Yes. Should the Eagles win? Yes. But these guys, I'm just get ready. LaFleur and his team are playing well. They won 11 games, 11, 12 games this year for a reason. They're not bad. These playoffs are actually loaded if you look at the wild card. If you look at the teams in the wild card, you got three 11, 12 game winners as wild card teams, which is crazy if you think about it. You got three. The loser of the Lions game will be a 14 win team, and then you have the Packers and the Commanders, which are both really really solid teams. Um, I would have much rather played the Commanders, but the Eagles played the Packers in Week 1 and came away with the win, and I don't see a reason why they don't do the same thing again next week. Hopefully, it's on Sunday, next Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. But I'm fine with it, and I'm ready to go.
I am ready to go because we played them in Brazil in the beginning of the year. That was not even a home game for us. This game will be on our own home turf. It's a different vibe, different energy. So with that, I'm looking forward to it. And I agree with Steve here. I agree with Steve. Packers are banged up. This is a much easier option. I feel like it is with the injuries. I really do. So my question is, with Jordan Love, right? How is he going to stand with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis and Milton Williams, the
Yeah,
defensive line?
yeah. We that's how you win the games in the trenches, and the defensive line has been outstanding. I think if you look at it, we have the matchups favor us on both lines. I think we have our offensive line is a little better than their defensive line, and I think our defensive line is playing at a level much higher than their offensive line. So yeah, I think we hold the advantage in the trenches on both sides of the ball there. Our linebackers, N'Kobe Dean is playing outstanding football, and Braun definitely is a first team. He has similar numbers to a few players that have won Defensive Player of the Year playing his position. I'm not saying he's the Defensive Player of the Year. I'm saying his numbers, he's been outstanding. That was a great find. And again, I just bragged on our secondary 10 minutes ago about how excellent they've been playing. So I like the matchup. I just would have liked a little get back against the Commanders.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm right there with you. And there is one player on the Packers that does kind of scare me a little bit, and that is their safety, McKinney. We all know him from the Giants, so it's just like, we got to play this guy who, thank God we have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, but still, he's a threat we got to look after. You agree?
I agree, but I'll say this. Hold on, let me see. I'm looking up something.
Uh,
Okay,
Okay,
so there is no giant. Alexander is on injury reserve.
okay.
So you're either going to have to roll coverage to AJ, and that means Smith is going to get one on one. And if you bring a man in a box, if you bring a man down in a box that plays, I just think we have too many options offensively. But McKinney doesn't scare me because you can do different things to negate his effect. He's great. He's a ball hawk. He does certain things, but you have to decide if you're not gonna if you're gonna let McKinney or you're gonna go in the shell and you're gonna play those two safeties deep, then it's Saquon's gonna get 25, 30 touches and just wear you down. Because again, we played the Packers when we had no identity offensively. We played the Packers before this Eagles team realized who they were. Now that the Eagles have the identity and they understand who they are, you can play that two deep shell if you want, and I'm fine with Jalen handing the ball off 30 times and going on not 7 8 minute drives, keeping their offense off the field, and letting Saquon go to work. But if you bring McKinney, if you bring the safeties down, or you try to stop the run, and you don't have an Alexander, and you're leaving those corners on an island with an AJ Brown or Devontae Smith, I'm fine with you have to pick your poison. So we just have to see how the Packers decide to play and make the adjustment from there.
Yep, yep. And I'm seeing a couple comments here. One from Ed. He was Saquon Barkley was 101 yards away from the record. Should have give him the first half to try to break it. Then Steve comes in and said Saquon would have had 101 yards by the end of the first half today. By the way, so
I agree. I
I
agree.
I agree. It's the worst. It's the league's worst rushing defense, and you don't put him out there. I mean, we're gonna be talking about this for years. We're gonna be
I,
talking
I
about this for years, man.
I agree. But also, like I think also if you look back, like they could have kept him in against Dallas and let him get about another 30 or 40 yards. So it would have been a little easier to say, hey, Saquon, I'm giving you the first quarter and seven, I'm giving you 10 carries to go get 55 yards this week. But they took him out. And then if you look back, there's been times where they took him out in the fourth quarter where you don't think about, hey, this kid's on pace to run for 2,000. He's on pace to break her. He's on pace to break a record. So let's just get him some rest. And I understand it. Like playing devil's advocate, the team had the earliest bye this
Yeah.
season. The team had a bye in week 5. Week 5, they played 14 straight weeks of football. So let's 13 weeks straight of football. Let's let them get their rest so that we are completely fresh and ready to go next weekend. Terry is probably better than any one receiver that the Packers have, but I think the Packers overall have a way better receiver room, Steve. I think we've seen Q lock up Terry, and before C.J. Johnson got ejected, the Eagles were locking up Terry again. And if you tell me it's going to be if the Washington receiver room, or if you gave me the choice to take the Washington receiver room or the Green Bay Packers receiving room, I would much rather defend the Washington Commanders receiving room. Because I know if you take Terry away, I'm not worried about Zacchaeus. I'm not worried about Noah Brown. I'm really not even worried about Zach Ertz. Like the Washington has two weapons. They have Jaden Daniels, who's an X factor, and they have Terry. Once if you get up on them, like we saw early in the game, 2 or 3 weeks ago, if you got up on them, you pretty much eliminate Brian Robinson, and they have to bring in their passing running backs who aren't as great a block pickup or when it comes to blitzing and things like that. So I rather play Washington because nothing about Washington scares me if you contain Jaden Daniels. Green Bay have Josh Jacobs. They have even without Watson, they have Dubs, they have Dobbs, and they have another. What's his name? I can't think of his name. Boykin, Jalen, somebody.
Yeah,
They have really
I know what you're talking about. Yep.
pieces. Like the Packers, I think, have spent second and third round picks on receivers the last 2 or 3 years in consecutive drafts. So Washington has a bigger name in Terry, but there's more depth and quality in Green Bay.
Yeah, I feel like with Green Bay, they're more of a complete team. I feel like they're still young. They still got some guys that have something to prove, and Jordan Love is an underrated QB. He's injured or not, he could still make some noise throwing the ball. Jaden Daniels, he's not my pick for offensive rookie of the year, but he's up there. But it just I feel more. I want to play against the Packers just because we get to defeat them on our own home turf, not like
I
in
get you.
another country like Brazil. That's how I take it. And then Steve comes in and goes, "No other running back in history has gone for 2,000 yards 2 times. Another Super Bowl run is more likely than him having the chance at this record. It's a shame they took it from him." Oh, neither team scares me. I just want that what divisional games can bring. That's why I'm glad it's the Packers rather than the Commanders. A friend of mine is like, I don't want to play the NFC East three times. He doesn't feel comfortable with that third time. So that's just him. He believes in superstitions.
Yeah, but that's usually only if you beat the team twice.
Yeah.
Normally, it's if you beat the team twice. The third time they figure it out. We just lost to those guys 3 weeks ago, so that's the only reason I want to play them. Like I want some sort of revenge, but I'm fine either way. I think they're both, like I said, they're both winnable games. Neither one of the teams scare me. I would prefer to play the Packers. I mean, I would prefer to play the Commanders. But if it's the Packers, it's the Packers. We just got to come in and prep and go on a 1 game win streak. Um, and how things work out. You got to just see how things work out. I um I do believe that if the Eagles win this weekend, it lines up for them to stay at home the rest of the playoffs
Yeah.
because I think I would like for Detroit to win tonight. Like going if we're looking at other things playing the game, I would like for Detroit to win tonight because I think if the Eagles are able to hold up their end and everything lines up, I think it'll be easier to go into Detroit with the way their defense is playing and win a game than it would be to go into Minnesota. But that's weeks ahead, and I don't want to talk about weeks ahead. I want to talk about what's the Packers coming into Philly this weekend.
Yeah. The Packers coming to Philly. I'm ready for it. I'm all in. There's just one thing that scares me though. I don't know you guys in the chat or Swerve's gonna agree with me here, but Nick Sirianni, I'm kind of scared what he's gonna do. Is he actually gonna try to come up with a couple plays of his own that might throw away the game? I don't know about you, but he kind of scares me a bit.
I think Nick is learning, and it's never too late to learn. And I think he realizes you let Kellen handle the offense, you let Vic handle the defense, and things are going to work out how they work out. I think we're in a good space. I think Nick is just there to oversee everything. Let your offensive coordinator do what he does. Let your defensive coordinator do what he does. and you just sit back and call timeout if you need it. You make sure everything else is in order. So hopefully Nick's got his play calling stuff out of his system, which it seems like he has the last few weeks, and just let these guys go out and play. Just let these guys go out and play.
I'm right there with you. And then Big Dom has to be there to calm Nick Sirianni down, emotionally. So that's another thing too. If Nick Sirianni could stay calm and not do anything stupid like yelling at the fans or something like that, then I'll be like, okay, I'm good. I'm good. It's just like a lot. That that's my weak spot, man, with this coach and Jake Elliott. That's another weak spot for me, man. I'm not liking Jake Elliott right now. I am not.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with Jakey, but he need to get it together. Like because I'm hoping this is the first time I'm saying it since he's been here. I don't want the game. Like normally, if you tell me, "Oh, we need a 35, 40-yard field goal, we're down one, and we need that to win the game," I'm like, "It's Jake. Like it's Jake." But this is a down year. Hopefully, it doesn't come to that. Hopefully, we're not in the position to. We're not in position for Jake to have to win us a game. But if so, I still have confidence in you, Chicken Little. Let's go, let's go. But you shake it off. It's a new season starting next weekend. I just need you to
Starting next weekend, it's a new season now.
starting next
Okay.
weekend. It's a new season starting next
I-
weekend. But
Here's
I'm
something
like, gee,
interesting. Here's something interesting. Unrelated note: the Titans got the number one pick.
well,
The Titans got the number one pick. After all
they're
that's happened, they got it. Oh my god.
did they do they draft another quarterback or do what's the mood in Tennessee? Do you take Travis Hunter? Do you draft a quarterback? Do you trade out? What does Tennessee need? A lot. But it's like,
Thank you for AJ Brown.
yes, I think I'm grateful for AJ Brown.
Uh,
Very grateful for AJ Brown. But
we gotta we gotta be polite to these teams, man. They're being
yeah,
so grateful to us. We gotta be polite back.
that'd be great. Thank you.
Oh,
You
that,
got Burke, but it's just like, what does Tennessee need? They need everything. So if you need everything, there's not one player. There's not one player in this draft that changes the fortunes of Tennessee like overnight. There's not one player in
no,
the draft.
yeah. So with Quinion Mitchell, right? Who's he gonna guard? Is it Watson? May not even play. I think Watson might be out.
Yeah, if
Who
Watson's out,
who's the number
that's
one receiver?
I don't know, and that's the tricky part. That's the tricky part with the Green Bay receiving room. You have Watson, who's a big kid, um, and he's really good. He's really
Yeah,
good. Uh, but
yeah, I
then you
got it.
have, I think, number 11. What's his name? I'm looking it up now.
You got here. I got it. You got Jaden Reed. You got
Jaden
Romeo
Reed.
Dobbs and Christian Watson. Jaden Reed is their number one according to the
Yeah,
ESPN depth chart.
I would say you put him on Reed. You put
You
him
put it,
on Reed, but they just got Tucker Craft back too, who's really good. And they have Musgrave. They have two really good tight ends. They have two decent tight ends. You got uh the Wicks kid. The Wicks kid is good. It's just they have um talent. They have talent at the wide receiver position. They have talent at the tight end position. They have talent at the running back position. The Packers are a good football team, but I believe the Eagles should win the game.
yeah, yeah. That's where I'm heading at here. All
No
right,
slow
so
start.
where's that?
Just don't start slow.
Right? It's kind of like what happened against what was it, the Cowboys, where they ran the ball away. We got the pick six, but then we couldn't stop them. They scored. It's
Yeah,
just like without that pick six, man, that might have been a different outcome.
yeah. We need to start fast offensively. Um, and stick to the plan. Like stick to the plan. I'm okay with like handing the ball off. You know what I didn't mind the last few weeks, the last 2 weeks. Like I know today they were going to let Tanner throw the ball 40 times. Like I expected them to let Tanner throw the ball 40 times just because it was a meaningless game, and they wanted to let this kid get it out of the system. Go out there and show you can make the throws. Go out there and show in game situations you can perform. But against the Cowboys last week, they ran the ball and they stuck to the run. And it was times where I think previous years, even earlier this year, like you hand the ball off on first down, you only get 2 yards, then they come back out on second down, then they instantly go to a pass. Run the ball, especially in the first half. Just continue to run the ball. Continue to just take that 3 or 4 yards because it's sending a message to the defense and it's wearing them down.
Yeah.
Um, I want Saquon. You didn't let him get the record, okay? But if he has to touch the ball 30 times next week and he breaks one or two in the second half, I'm completely fine with that. Just wear him down, and if those safeties creep up, you got 6, you got 11, and now you got Goddard back. So you have the weapons to. The Eagles the Eagles are one of the few teams in the NFL. They can win a game. If you look at this season, they beat Pittsburgh through the air. They beat the Rams on the ground. They beat New Orleans in a defensive struggle. Like the Eagles can win a game. They can win a football game however you want to play the game. If you say we're taking away your run and you got to beat us passing, they can do it. If they say we're taking away the pass and you got to go on 15 play drives to get points, they can do it. If you say defense, our offense isn't producing, we need you to hold them to 9 points, hold them to 10 points, hold them to whatever. The defense can go out there and do it. So I feel like there's not a way the Eagles, there's not a team that can play a particular style or a particular brand of football to beat this team. This team matches up well and can play any style of football you want them to. And that's why I'm confident. I honestly believe that the Packers, out of all the teams in the playoffs, the Packers were the toughest matchup. They're getting their toughest matchup in the first round. And if they can beat the Packers, I believe they can possibly make a Super Bowl run.
Here's the thing with Goddard. He's one of the best blocking tight ends in the NFL, and that is huge because we saw what Calcaterra does, and oh my God, that was terrible. I don't want to see that again. I don't want to see Calcaterra block again. So I'm glad that Goddard's back. That's a huge plus for me. Huge plus.
Getting him back. He's a weapon. He's a huge weapon. I just wish he stayed healthy. I just wish he could stay healthy. But he's a huge weapon, and I'm happy to have him back. And he adds another element to an offense that is so it's not going to get the credit it deserves because they didn't score a lot of points in the first quarter this season. But from the second quarter on, it was the best offense. It was the best offense in the league. And I mean, they're still finished top 5 offensively in most categories, and that's without scoring. I think they might have scored 25 points in the first quarter all season long, 25 before last week. So and then last week that the first points they scored were a pick six. It wasn't even technically an offensive touchdown. So that's what gives me hope. We're 18 weeks in the season, and realistically, we haven't seen this offense reach its full potential, and that's with a 2,000-yard rusher, 1,000-yard receiver, um, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goddard having down seasons.
Yep.
So Devontae Smith only had 800 yards this year. Dallas Goddard had 500 yards this year. AJ Brown broke 1,000, but I mean, you're looking at an offense with elite players at every position, and they still haven't peaked. They still haven't hit their potential. They still haven't played. How many games has the offensive line been complete? AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, and Jalen Hurts. How many games have we had that whole unit together? We get to see it. We get to see it next week. We get to see it healthy. A rested Dallas Goddard, arrested A.J. Brown, arrested Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts out of concussion protocol, arrested Saquon Barkley. You have your tackles, you have your guards, and you have your center. We're healthy. Let's go out there and score 40. Let's go out there and score 40.
I'm right there with you. I'm feeling more and more confident with this team just based off rest. I want to play them next Sunday. I don't want them to play on Saturday. Hell, I'll even take next Monday. I don't want Saturday at all. No.
I don't want Saturday. I would prefer.
Saturday.
I would prefer a Sunday game. Sunday at 1 would be my pick.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah, I'd rather play the 1 o'clock game on Sunday.
Yeah. Hopefully we get that. I mean, we were mostly prime time all season, so keep that in mind. Might as well.
But I'm hoping there's a matchup that they find more attractive to put on Monday night, and I'm hoping that the Green Bay Philadelphia would be great for 1 o'clock, even a Sunday at 1. But even if they push it to 4, just give me a Sunday game. NFL. I prefer. I would love a Sunday game.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. So there you have it. The First and Feathers podcast, the Eagles post-game show. I was here with my guy Swerve. Let the people know where they can find you, man.
You can find me at Swerve Griffin on Facebook, Swerve Griffin on Blue Sky, the Black Jason Kelsey on Twitter, and I have the Because I Feel Like It podcast, and I'm still doing the Philly podcast with Joe Castro. Shout out to Dorsey, Black, Scoob, Nelson, all those guys. We're around. Like and subscribe. And thank you, Stream Pump. Thank you, Mitch, for having me. It's always a blast, and I appreciate the love and support from everyone.
Of course, man. You guys can find me on YouTube at Mitch Toxie, on Steampunk Sports, Hardcore Sports Network. You can pretty much find me anywhere. With that being said, let's go Birds. Can't wait for the game next week. See you guys. Let's go Birds.